Hello and welcome to this episode of Health and You. Today's topic for discussion is rising health conditions in India, and we have two dermatologists, well known dermatologists, joining us for this show. We have Dr. Rashmi Shetty, she's Mumbai based, and Dr. Seema Oberoi Lal, she's consultant dermatologist with CK Birla Hospital in Gurgaon. Thank you so much, Dr. Seema and Dr. Rashmi, for joining us today. So, we keep hearing about rising skin conditions and diseases in India, like several other lifestyle diseases. What are the conditions that seem to be particularly on the rise now, and what do you think are the reasons? We'll start with Dr. Rashmi Shetty, please.
So if you're asking me about more clinical dermatological conditions, two things really come into my mind. One, of
Yeah.
course, is acne, which could be clinical as well as aesthetic. Two, there is a lot of rise in atopic dermatitis and skin allergies in general. So these are the three things that really come into my mind. And of course, tops it all is hair fall as well.
Okay. Dr. Seema, would you like to add something to it? What
Yeah,
is your
I would also
perspective?
like to add fungal infections with global warming and so much of use of synthetic clothing and a lot of other factors. So we have a lot of fungal infections at present which are happening, and a lot of self-use of medication is sort of making them linger on for a long time before they actually approach the doctor for treatment.
Yeah, yeah. So pollution and all the environment conditions are also adding to it, the problem. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So self medication when it comes to skin disorders is a big problem. People tend to try to fix things themselves rather than going to dermatologists. That is what we see. So please help us understand in which conditions people tend to do that and why it may be harmful. What may be the particular risks associated with self medication when it comes to skin disorders?
So I think firstly we need to understand why people even think of self-medicating when it comes to skin.
Right.
So what's important is that you understand that whether it is a cardiac issue or if it is a issue with let's say blood pressure or something with your brain, you will not self-medicate. But when it comes
Right.
to skin, it's so trivialized that you will listen to your neighboring auntie, you will listen to the salon lady, you will listen to a blogger whose qualifications you may not even check, and you will self-medicate and look at the most colorful glittering packet and think that really works. So firstly, please understand what you put on the skin is very, very serious. And it's important for me that you understand that what you put on the skin may not just have an implication on the skin, but has an implication on your systemic self as well. And you may think you will put something for a minute and then we can kind of rectify it later. It doesn't work like that. It may leave a
Right.
long term implication on your skin. So for me, please don't self-medicate. There are so many dermatologists in India. Please meet someone, and simply getting a right consultation to understand what your skincare regime should be might solve a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about applying, as Dr. Rashmi Shetty just mentioned. It is also about what gets absorbed from what you apply. All that goes into your body, into your bloodstream, and it has implications on your body as well. A
Right.
lot of doctors think that it's just about applying a cream. A cream ही तो है. How does it matter? But creams also go into your bloodstream, and they are equivalent to how you eat your tablets.
Right. Another issue that is that of major concern regarding abuse of skin creams which contain steroids. We have been hearing this for a long time. So, in your view, Dr. Seema, we'll start with you on this. How big is the problem and what is the potential impact of this thing?
It's literally an epidemic in our country, and the one major reason for this is easy accessibility of steroid creams off the counter. Though we
Right.
have rules regarding what is over the counter or what we call as an OTC drug and what is a prescription drug. But to tell you frankly, how many of us or how many of us have encountered that our neighborhood chemist actually sees the prescription and gives you the medication? Everybody likes
Yes.
to pick up a Betnovate or a Lobate or a Quatidum. There are so many available, and many of them with different combinations in the market. Easy accessibility is one major reason people. One, of course, is what Dr. Rashmi said, trivialization of skin's issues. You think that any cream you apply, you'll be fine. Second thing is easy accessibility of steroids. So our, even for patients, I feel that it's not that the patients in India are different from patients in other countries. If we have rules, if they are actually executed well, then patients, even if they want, cannot pick up the steroid creams. First of all, why are they being manufactured in weird combinations with such wonderful antifungals, which we very cautiously use as oral tablets? They are being formulated into creams and mixed with steroids and are sold in the market. Who gives licenses to these? Why are these being sold? These are the questions we need to ask our system. So one
Right.
is regarding the production which is happening in the pharma industry. So it's, doctors are a small part of the problem. It's our system. So one is the pharma industry who's giving them permission to make these formulations which none of us clinical dermatologists ever use in our practice.
Yeah, and
Second,
people use them left, right, and center. They just
yeah, we
take
are
it
not prescribing them.
and
None of us clinical dermatologists prescribe us for any indication. Why are
Mhm.
they being produced in the first place? Second problem lies in why are they being sold at pharmacies? Then why are the pharmacies being allowed to prescribe when they are not authorized? They are not doctors. There needs to be a prescription given for steroids, just like because of the drug abuse problem things like Benadryl syrup and all these cough syrups and the sedative medications like Alprax and all, people do find it difficult without prescription to find them. We should have a very strict formulation wherein you need a prescription about how many tubes, how many milligrams of steroid are needed, and we can tell you as dermats, close to 30-40% of skin issues will be sorted if these steroid creams are not available. Be
Yeah.
it infections, be it skin issues, so many people use them in different forms. And I'll tell you, many times you can have your local salon lady or some other XYZ person who's, indigenous medicine they are sort of making, and they just mix up these in small pastes and mix up all fancy things into it and give you. And people, without knowing, they keep applying them. And
Yeah.
the side effects we all know. Not only does it worsen your infections, it worsens your acne, it causes unnecessary hair growth on the skin, it makes the skin thin, leads to a lot of stretch marks, leads to excessive hair growth. And not just the skin, it also gets absorbed like any other steroid into your body. And we all
Right.
know oral steroids, when you eat, they have implications on your bones, on your eyes, on your diabetes, on your heart, everywhere. So, it is a big epidemic.
Yeah, very important message there. Dr. Rashmi, please tell us about, we hear that, and we see that there are a lot of skincare products and that market is tremendously rising. All sort of brands, all sort of companies are there in the market now. How does one choose which are the products which I should go for and they should suit my skin type? How to make that judgment?
Yeah, so I'm going back to your first question simply to say that do not do your job, as in do not do picking it yourself. That is not your job, that's a doctor's job. So just because these kind, of messages that we give, we're saying, your skin is dry, you choose this. If your skin is oily, you choose this kind of skin, you can use this. These are the ingredients for that. Will you ever ask a cardiologist what are the ingredients that go into a BP medicine and who are the patients that can take it? What is the standard BP below which I can take my medicine? We don't. Likewise, when we speak with the dermatologist, also probably we should not be even speaking things in such a way, how will I use the different creams? For me, the blanket answer is don't do it yourself, because you don't understand what percentage of what ingredient, what formulation of the ingredient, what is mixed, what are the other combining ingredients in that particular cream. It is very difficult to understand these things just by a layman's scale. You cannot. So it is best for you to go to your doctor, firstly identify what is your skin type, and according to that skin type, what is it that might really suit you best. There are certain actives which can only be used at certain time in the day. Certain active cannot be used with something else. So all of
Mhm.
these your doctor knows best, and you can't just go online and say what should I pick up. And rightly that you're saying, there's a clutter of cosmetic creams today in the market, and everybody wants to sell. So
Right.
everybody is bombarding you with information, with advertisements, making it look like a magic, which it is not. So the best way to choose your creams in a cluttered market, especially such as this, is to talk to your dermatologist. If you keep experimenting, looking at everything, one, you're wasting a lot of money because you're experimenting. Two, in that bargain, your skin is getting damaged. Then to repair that damage, you're going to spend a lot more. So it is so easy simply to go book a consultation and ask your doctor.
There is a related question. There are also a lot of skin treatments that people, tend to use these days just to, look more beautiful, to sort of enhance their looks, appearances. And the problem is that many a times these skin treatments are not being performed by dermats like you, but at local parlors or, fancy looking salons also. What message will you have for people to, choose one, what kind of treatment suits them, and how and where to
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah. So back to your previous question, also to make it easy, one, of course, you go to your doctor, like I said, but two, look for legitimate companies. You need to look at companies, see the company backgrounds. Are they just a fly by night company?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just a colorful packaging backed by whom? Is it backed by a doctor, backed by a pharma company, backed by a cosmetical giant? These are things that you may have to look at. Likewise, in services, who is the service provider? Firstly, it has to be a medical clinic, that is most important. A lot of cosmetic services are also provided by non specialized clinicians, which means to say they don't need to be a dermatologist. A small segment of services can also be performed by a doctor who's a physician, who at least should have an MBBS as a degree. So that is something that you primarily look at. Then, if there is something specialization needed to understand a more in depth, you need a dermatologist. Then there are
Mm-hmm.
procedures which may need cutting or surgical experience. Then you need a plastic surgeon. So these are the people who will be able to do it. But in a lot of countries, there are cross specialization where an ENT doctor will do it, ophthalmology doctor will do it. In some countries, dentists and nurses also will perform small procedures such as Botox and fillers. But in our country, the rules are very different. They prefer a dermatologist to do it. Aesthetic physician can do a few procedures. And like I said, aesthetic, cosmetic, or plastic surgeon is the other category who will do procedures. So these are the only things you should look for. Please don't go into salons, unqualified people, people who call themselves doctors, but they may not at all be doctors. They are not MBBS doctors at all. So please be
Yeah,
very, very careful not to enter these places.
yeah.
You also
Also, yeah, yeah,
aware.
please, Dr. Seema, please go ahead. Yes, if you would like to add something. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that expertise is one aspect, as just Dr. Lakshmi said. Apart from that, you also need to realize that many of these procedures require blood works, require some breakage of a skin barrier where injections are being given or PRP or something is being performed. So, how the sterilization is working is very important, because you may actually end up contracting some infection or disease. So, a place which is properly following all
Yeah, yeah. We
sterility.
have, in fact, heard of instances when people have died during these procedures because they were unqualified people doing those procedures. So we discussed about, a lot of these treatments, products. There is also a link between skin health and nutrition. So we would also want the two of you to please discuss a little about that. How big does is the role of nutrition when it comes to skin health, and how can one ensure that, what to eat, what to avoid in order to have a good health on the skin? Dr. Rashmi, we would like to start with you.
Yes. So one is all the fat diets, please don't do. The first thing which will hit is your skin and your hair. The minute you start any kind of a fat diet, the first thing that goes wrong is increased hair fall. You will have pigmentation on the skin, dry skin, barrier damage, all of that. So most people of course know that protein is important for skin, but you think fat is not. So please do not do a no fat diet. Nothing can hold the barrier, hold the health, absorb your nutrition, get your hormone production and functioning well if there is no fat. So fat is a very important part of your diet for your skin. Then there is of course a lot of micronutrients. So simply, like everybody knows, everybody tells you a colorful plate or an Indian plate, which is full of all nutritious food, is a great thing to have. Apart from good food, today, because there is depletion in the soil, there is a lot more pollution, there is an ozone layer depleted, we are living in a stressful life, people don't sleep and eat on time, you have an excessive oxidative damage, which just your body's antioxidants cannot handle. So you need it from outside. Food that you're eating may not give you as much nourishment as you were getting from that before. And micronutrients are not enough. You need them to be plugged in. So having a set of supplements will make a great difference. Everyone can simply start off with a good antioxidant, with a good anti-inflammatory. The third thing is, of course, do a blood panel to figure out what of your regular vitamins and minerals are not in the optimum. You can plug those in with your doctor's help and take them as well. So nutrition is the most important thing. So I can't tell you for one condition or two conditions is very important. And yeah, that's that. Dr.
Yeah,
Jha
Dr.
can add
Seema,
on.
would you also like to add something?
Yeah, of course, nutrition, what you eat is what is visible on your skin as well as your hair. And of course, water, I would like to add water and a good balanced diet, because a lot of people end up, missing on the water part of it, especially in dry and humid country like ours. And even for hair, it's very important, because I would say almost 30% or 25 to 30% of Indian population, especially women, are iron deficient. So that's one aspect I feel, especially for hair, even skin in general, your oxygenation does suffer. So getting your blood works done. So a lot of people come and ask us, the random sort of multivitamins and all. I mean, it's always good to have your, blood works being done up by your doctor, so that whatever is deficient, you can add that up, and otherwise make sure your daily nutritional requirements are met with,
Yeah,
and add up a lot of fruits and veggies into your diet, and
that goes
a good
without saying.
diet.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap to this discussion. Thank you so much, Dr. Rashmi Shetty and Dr. Seema Lal, for joining us in the conversation. Thank you so much. Thanks.